About 1800 years ago, the Romans in the 2nd century AD built this fort here near Ambleside. It replaced an earlier fort and I'm sitting now on the walls of the garrison commander's house quarters. It was quite an impressive stone fort, and it covered a huge area. It reminds me of Paul arriving at Philippi. Philippi was a Roman settlement. It was a settlement that was predominantly Roman. It wasn't in Rome, but it was a Roman settlement. The Romans, if you were in the legions of the Roman Empire, you were guaranteed a piece of land and a retirement settlement. And the Roman Caesars had to go through and give this land, but they didn't really want to give it on their own front doorstep where they'd have lots and lots of trained killers. They wanted to put them somewhere else in the empire. So Philippi was a Roman settlement in Philippi. And Philippi was the place where Paul met Lydia, a seller of purple, and stayed at her home, and he got thrown into prison, if you remember. The Philippian jailer was there. Paul and Silas were in the prison, chained up in the inner cell, singing hymns to God while all the other prisoners were all listening. That must have been an outrageous thing to see for these prisoners. What on earth is happening in this cell? And then there was an earthquake. The doors fell off, the chains fell off, and the effect that Paul and Silas must have had on these prisoners, none of them ran away, and they all could have, but they didn't. They took the cue from Paul and Silas, who remained there and calm. When the jailer came, Paul could shout, "Don't worry, we're all here, don't kill yourself," because he was going to kill himself, because if he'd let the prisoners escape, it would have been a death penalty anyway. And he asked that famous question, "What must I do to be saved?" And Paul replied, "Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved, you and your family." And there we have the start, I think, of the Philippian church, to which Paul later wrote the letter Philippians, which we have in our Bible to this day. It's amazing when you've got history like this that kind of links to stories like that. Praise the Lord.